1989. What can I say? All right, so project for today is get those skateboards mounted on this wall. And I've kind of played around with a couple different ideas of the best way to do it. And I think how we're going to end up doing it is by creating a bracket that will actually use the hardware from the board to mount it to the wall. Now, here's one of the challenges, and I'll walk around here so you can kind of see, is that, well, none of these boards are the same length. So my original thought was take 2 screws out of the bottom of each truck, take the lock nuts off, turn the bolts around and run them back through the board, so now the bolt is sticking out of the board surface, and then create a bracket where they screw into that. Now that works, except for if you line up every one of these boards by the bottom of their trucks, they're all different lengths. So they would look, up and down weird on a wall. So this way doesn't look bad. And how that's working is the top bolts of the trucks on the longer boards and the lower bolts of the trucks on the shorter boards seem to work out fairly decent. They're still not obviously the same, but it's pretty close. So I think that'll work. Let's jump over to the desk. Let's take a look at what I designed, and we'll see if that's going to work. All right, so here is our bracket design, and I've questioned myself a couple times why I didn't run this gusset all the way up. And my initial thought was because I'm using PETG and it can be a little bit flexible. Not every skateboard is designed exactly the same, so some may touch the wall, but some may hang straight down. And my thought was with a slightly flexible material that these could actually kind of sag over time and that board would actually touch the wall. If I gusset it clear out to here, obviously strength is not a problem, but the boards, there's really not a reason. I can't think of a reason not to. I don't know why. The funny thing is, as I'm printing this and I'm looking at it, I'm like, why didn't I run this gussets all the way out? I don't know. I guess the thought was to let it be a little bit flexible in case the board gets bumped. This would flex versus, being more rigid. Kind of stuck on which way I should go. Should I allow for some flexibility in case they get bumped? Or should I make it just absolutely rigid? That way I don't have to worry about it. It's a good question. But the original design here, the intent was to be able to reuse the hardware that comes on the board. So this is the 2 lock nuts and the 2 screws from right out of one of the boards. And the intent is just to take that screw out and then turn it around backwards and run it back through the deck so the screw's sticking up out of the top of the deck, right? And then just screw it into here. And then that would secure it to the wall. Yeah, it works. Obviously, the screw went right in. No problem there. We've got a screw, drywall screw, and that'll go right through there. So that shouldn't be a problem. So I guess I have to ask myself, do I care about what's more important, the strength or flexibility, right? Because this probably would break if hit hard enough. I don't know. Good question. What do you think? Decided to go ahead and put one in place just to see. I knew in this position I had a stud, so no big deal. You can see that flexibility, and I don't know. I think I kind of want the flexibility. Let's go ahead and get a board mounted up to it, and let's see what it looks like. Well, I will say one advantage of the non-gusseted version is that the measurements I took were on another board for the hole spacing, and it was slightly off, right? But with that flexibility, it actually allowed me to pull that arm over to get lined up to get the screw in it. So everything looks pretty good. As you can see, it's holding on well. And it does have some you know, some flexibility because of it. So if it gets bumped a little bit, actually if it gets bumped this way, it won't be a problem because it's basically up against the wall. But getting bumped this way would be my concern, and it seems to be doing pretty well. Now obviously it's plastic just like any other plastic, and if it got really slammed into, yeah, you'd probably have a problem. But overall, I think the design works pretty good, and it looks pretty seamless. You know, you're still using the factory hardware, and it just hangs there perfect. So now the hard part will be get proper spacing between them and getting the next bracket up. We'll see how that goes. I only printed out one, and I used it, so I guess I need to print out some more. Now, to be completely honest, I actually considered reducing the length of these slightly. And the reason being is this board was, you know, some distance from the top of the wall. And I thought, well, I've got the room, I could reduce it, and then, you know, it wouldn't matter too much on the bottom. It'd still touch the wall, you know, it would just be a little bit closer. And that would be better for shorter boards like this one. So you can see when I mounted this one, everything mounted successfully, obviously. You know, no problems there. Not touching the wall. Actually, it was farther away from that 5 minutes ago. So that gives you the idea of, you know, the flexibility of this PETG. It's actually kind of relaxing over time. I bet in the next couple of hours, that board will probably be touching the wall. You can see there's a kind of a curve to the board, so it's hard to judge. There is a little bit of sag in it, but not much, not much. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm okay that it's not touching the wall. It doesn't really matter to me. But the alignment works. And now you can see this is all going to be down to feel when it comes to the next one. The one that actually fits in the middle between the two of them. More than likely what's going to happen is I'll probably take a measurement between the two boards. Just between the edge of this board, the edge of that board, find center, and just put the mount right in the center. And then what board's going to go there? I believe this black land yacht is going to go there. This creature, what will I do? I'll probably put the creature on the very far end, because this land yacht and this land yacht are both shorter boards. So we'll have longer, shorter kind of layout there. But I think that works. I mean, ultimately, if down the road there's a problem, I can address it. But to me, everything seems to be working pretty good. If I did have a problem down the road, it will be with the Santa Cruz. And I'll tell you why. You can see the heads of the screws, yeah, don't seat completely in there. And there was only about, I don't know, maybe 10 threads actually sticking out of the board because of that. Either that or the screws are a little bit short, so there wasn't a lot of threads. It threaded in firmly, like I'm pretty confident with it, but there was not a lot of threads going into that adapter. So we shall see, but you can see everything is working as intended. And yeah, no problem there. I'll get this finished up, give you guys a kind of a finished shot, and then we'll go from there. Okay, well, we're all done here. The boards are up. They look great. I love how they turned out. I don't know what happened, but the last couple days I've got like exactly 0 orders, which has been kind of cool because it's given me time to get caught up. And I was so far behind everything that I was just super glad to have the time to get things done, you know, to get all the boards up, to get all my stuff put away. Remember this big pile that was in the floor? That pile's gone now. Everything's where it belongs. You know, other than that, we're doing pretty good. I got a workbench to get built or find somebody that wants to hook the YouTube channel up. I've reached out to a couple of table companies. No one's kind of hit me back, so I'm not worried about these people. If they don't want to get back to me and whatever, I just build my own. I don't know what we want to do for a table. What do you guys want me to do for a table? You know, I've always wanted to do an epoxy kind of table. But man, what a hell of a job that is. I see so many people do those. That's a lot of work. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. Let me hear from you guys. What do you guys think I should do for a workbench? I'm not going to lie. This was what I was going to do. I've got a bunch of older motherboards. So if you used to crypto mine, like the, what is it? The B250 Mining Expert. I've got a couple of them. I've got a couple of the Asus mining boards. You know, I got a bunch of them. And honestly, I thought about taking all those motherboards and just creating an epoxy workbench with a bunch of motherboards down in them. I know that's kind of dumb because I think those boards are still worth money. I probably shouldn't do that, to be honest with you. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. That's the video. As you can see, voila, it's done. And if you guys are interested in that file, I'm actually going to shorten it just a little bit, but then I will put a link to it in the description so you guys can download it. Now, if you go to the description right now and you don't see the link, I haven't got it uploaded yet, but check back later. Just subscribe or whatever and check back later and the link will be down there. It's just going to take me a minute to get it up there, but I need to get this video up before it gets too late or literally no one will see it. That's how the YouTube works. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the project. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell so you get notifications. We're going to be doing a lot more of this. Yes, we do talk about our 3D print business, but I'm also going to be doing more practical jobs around the house, working on projects just like this and similar projects. Some of them even outside I have planned. So, yeah. So just tap in, hit that subscribe, and you'll get notifications the next time I upload a video. Later.